Hello everyone, very warm good morning to all of you. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. My name is Pooja Sharma and I am your current affairs and history faculty here. So today is 24th of February 2025 and I am going to take your DNA session of the Hindu newspaper. So hello everyone who are online right now, like Priyanka is here, Muhammad Saeed is here, you are very consistent here, and Dheeraj is here, Lokesh is here. So good morning everyone. Okay, this is the QR code for the PDF files of these DNA sessions, so you can scan through it from where you can get the PDF files. Other than that, in the description box also you can get the PDF files. This is the front page of the Hindu newspaper today. Obviously this news is very important. We are going to understand what is USAID, along with that what is the controversy related to it. I hope you would be knowing the controversy through social media or other channels, but we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, so let's start today's discussion. Let's see which news are important, which news we are going to cover. These are the new courses which are starting at Tathastu ICS, so you can go through the details. If you want to know other details or other inquiry, you can just ask in the description box. Right now, these are the important news which we are going to cover today. Someone is saying PDF are not uploaded. Rehan, PDF are uploaded. You can check it now. Yesterday only I made sure that all the previous PDFs are there in that Telegram group, right? Okay, you can check it right now. Other than that, in the description box of each and every TNA you can get the PDF, so don't worry much about the PDFs. So these are the news which we are going to cover today. The first is again related, is on your front page. It is the attack by Donald Trump, when the statement which the Donald Trump has given about the funding to India through USAID. So we are going to understand that what is this controversy, is it true or not, because by the investigation of Washington Post and the Indian media also. Okay, they have came to know that there was no such a huge amount of money was coming to India through USAID. Okay, all right, Remy, don't worry about it. The most of the DNA will remain in English only, so you can understand it very clearly. So don't worry about that. All right. Okay, Rehan, I will check it if the PDFs are uploaded or not. Don't worry much about that. Today you concentrate on today's newspaper. Right now it should be your priority. Second news is related to RBI's recent initiative to infuse money in the economy. We all know that our banks have the currency crunch. Not only currency crunch, our banks has the money crunch in general, but we need money so that we can spur up our economic growth. How can we have the more businesses if we are not giving loans? For that we need money. Now what the RBI going to do? RBI is going to give the dollars, banks are going to give dollars to the RBI. RBI in return is going to give rupees to Indian banks. So this is how we are going to infuse money in the economy. This is the RBI's job. One of the job of RBI is, one of the part of the monetary policy in our country is to manage the money supply. So right now money supply is very less, we need more money. For that this is a new mechanism. Before that also in January also we have actually infused $5 million, but right now we are going to infuse $10 million. Okay, so this can be enough to give a push to the growth in our economy. Now other than that, so that's why the name of the article, this is the main editorial, your editorial page. It's the necessary infusion. Infusion of what? Infusion of money it is talking about. And why it is necessary? It is very necessary for the growth of our economy, so that banks will have money and that money is available for loans. If the people are going to take loan, they can start new businesses, new employment will generate, growth will be there. So this is how everything in the economy is linked. So RBI have to make sure how much money supply is there in the economy, and this is one of the way. Before that, decades before, RBI used to print the currency to infuse the money supply, but that is not a good strategy because that will take the value of rupee very less. Okay, right now also Indian rupees value is very less as compared to the dollar. So the third article is again on your editorial page, that is the talent shortage. Actually this is a very opinion based article or editorial where the author is trying to say that in the world by 2030 the world is going to change, the world economy is going to change, the need of the economy, the demand from the various countries are going to change. So there is going to be a shortage of talent. Shortage of talent, it means talent here, the meaning of talent is skill workers. So there will be a shortage of skilled workers all over the world. It is not only talking about India, it is talking about all over the world. How because we know that we have huge population, and how can we use our population, how can we make our population so developed when it comes to the skills, for example any kind of skills related to services, skills related to manufacturing. So how can we develop that kind of skills so that we can harness this opportunity? Okay, so it is a global challenge. Talent shortage is going to be a global challenge in the future, but how India can act, India can change this challenge as an opportunity for the people, so that we can supply the skilled workforce all over the world. Right now Indian workforce has very good reputation, though there are incidents of illegal immigration to the Western countries, but overall the reputation of Indian workers are really good. So we can actually build our further motive on that. So this article is about that. The next article is about the famous case of Ranveer Allahabadiya. Now there was an article on your text and context page which was actually first going to tell you about what was the case, about what was the plea by him and what was the Supreme Court ruling, and after that the article is going to judge the ruling was right or not. Okay, we should have such kind of restriction on him or not. Is it a restriction on his personal liberty? Because right now he cannot have his own YouTube channel. He has a YouTube channel, but he cannot have more videos. Or not only him, the people who were working with him also, they cannot have any show on social media right now. So this is a kind of a restriction on someone's speech and expression, we can say that. So we are going to judge the whole scenario from starting to end. Okay, so these are the important news which we are going to cover today. In today's newspaper there were not much news related to your prelims examination, so the most of them were basically based on your mains one. Here what is the USAID, that can be something that is factual. Other than that, the whole newspaper, the most of the articles were very much mains oriented. So let's start discussion one by one. So this is the first news, that is the Trump attack USAID again over India grants amid doubts over Doge charge. So what is the USAID? USAID is actually a US's agency. So this agency is going to give aid to the different countries, mostly when it comes to humanitarian aid. Obviously USA, because USA was acting as a world leader from last many decades, so USA wanted to have such kind of soft diplomacy also. So under that soft diplomacy, USA was going to give such kind of aid. From USAID, the aids used to come to it can come to any NGO, any particular NGO to India. So this is how the funds are getting transferred from USA to India. But right now, because we all know that Donald Trump and the nature of the president of USA, the present president of USA, so he has this tendency of saying things, but obviously everyone has to authenticate what he has said. So let's see what he has said, and let's understand what was the repercussion and what is the whole scenario here. So Donald Trump accused USAID for giving India 18 to 21 million dollars, which according to Indian media and the USA media as well is not true. But let's understand that. According to Donald Trump, USAID has given India so many millions of rupees for voter turnout. Again, no one could basically understood what was the exact meaning of this voter turnout. Maybe it is for the training of the elections in our country, calling it unnecessary and linking it to a high tariff on US goods. Okay, again he linked everything with the high tariff, because we have a trade imbalance with the USA, which is in our favor, which is not in favor of USA. So USA is obviously not going to be very happy about it. Other than that, his statement has been inconsistent, shifting from blaming the previous US administration for influencing election or calling it a kickback scheme. Other than that, there is no clear evidence that have been found that such funds were ever transferred. So investigation by Indian media and the Washington Post found no such projects under USAID India. So there were no as such kind of project which was going on in India for which the USAID has given us funds, right? So that is the issue. The actual funding, obviously there was some funding from this agency to India, but that funding was not that much. It was not 18 to 21 million dollars. It was not even $1 million. So it was around $3,19,000 in 2018-90s, which is far lower than the claims made by the US president. Indian government is examining the issue but has not commented on Trump's the latest remarks. Obviously Indian government cannot act like so immaturely, said that whatever is Donald Trump is saying that we are going to react on that. If we are going to do that, then we have to react every day, because he is saying everything on a daily basis. So let's understand what this USAID. USAID is the United States Agency for International Development. So this is important in this news. From UPSC's point of view, what is important in prelims also, there can be a question based on this United States Agency for International Development. Again, it is a United States, it is not United Nations Agency. Okay, please try to understand that. Other than that, it is for international development. Right, so it is a part of US government that help other countries with money and resources. What kind of who started actually this USAID? President John F. Kennedy in 1961. He has started it. Actually it runs programs such as improvement in the healthcare, to support the elections, so that, because we all know that USA is very much in favor of, USA wants to have the democratic system all over the world, especially when there was a Cold War going on. So the world was divided into two blocks, the capitalist and the socialist. The USA wanted to have its own hegemony, and that's why they wanted to support elections. Other than that, they help other countries when it comes to disaster or the boost the economies of enemy countries, just like India does. India does such kind of India gives such kind of aid in its neighborhood. We know that India has given such kind of aid to Sri Lanka also, the same way the USA has done that. Now in India, US had a work on the projects such as fight diseases like malaria and tuberculosis, improvement in education, job skills, clean energy and communities to prepare for disaster. But the amount was not that much that was mentioned by the Donald Trump. It was very much less than that. Okay, right. So this was about this news. Someone is asking that ma'am हिंदी में बोलिए साहेब. For that we have a, उसके लिए हमारे पास एक हिंदी चैनल है, तथास्तु हिंदी चैनल. वहाँ पे शिवानी मैम इसी समय पे 10 बजे ही हिंदी का DNA लेती हैं, तो आप वहां पे जाके हिंदी में अपना न्यूज एनालिसिस देख सकते हैं. ठीक है. Someone is saying ma'am USA imposed same taxes on country. Yes, USA, actually Donald Trump is trying to change the things. We all know that, because what is his main motto? His main motto is America first. So he is not going to act as a leader. He is saying that we are done with being leader of this whole world. So right now we are going to concentrate on our own country only. So that's why they are saying that. Someone is saying they have missed DNA for consecutively 3 to 4 days. Why don't you go and watch it? Okay, it is not going to take much time. You can have it's on the double speed and you can watch the DNA. DNA is not more than 45 to 1 hours. So within half an hour you can watch your DNA. So it will take like 2-3 hours, maximum 2-3 hours it will take to cover the previous DNAs. Okay, so Chetan, don't worry much about it. You go and do it. If you will keep thinking how to cover, then the 2 hours you are going to waste only by thinking how to cover it. You just go and act on it. Okay. Okay, let's come to our next news. So our next article is the main editorial on the Hindu newspaper. So the article is the necessary infusion. So what kind of infusion? Infusion of obviously money. Infusion of money where? Infusion of money in economy. How RBI infuse money in economy? Through banks. So banks are the intermediaries. So RBI is going to give money. RBI is going to give money to the banks, and banks are going to infuse that money into economy. So this is how it happened. So why RBI is going to inject $10 billion? So they are going to inject $10 billion. Why they are saying that $1 billion? Because the exchange banks are going to give dollars, okay, to RBI, and in return RBI is going to give rupee to banks, and then banks are going to give these rupees as a loan, loans, okay, to economy, so that we can have growth in the economy or development, you can say that. So the main aim is the growth. So why RBI is doing that? First of all, we need to understand that right now Indian banks don't have enough liquidity. Liquidity means we don't have enough cash of money supply. Okay, look, in balance sheet the banks has money, okay, but the money that is in balance sheet is not in liquefied form. If you have the basic understanding of economy, you know that there is a different kind of money, M0, M1, M2, M3. Okay, so money is of different forms. So we have for example, the money that you have in your bank accounts, so that in your saving accounts, so that is not very liquid money, but the money that you have in your current account, so that is very much liquid. You can go to the ATM and you can easily get the money, you can easily get the cash, so that is very liquid. Other than that, the money in your FD, okay, fixed deposit, that is not a liquid money, because the bank has given that money to someone else, okay, as a loan, so that they can have some other kind of projects in the economy. So this is how the bank system works. What is the meaning of infusion? Infusion means putting something, okay, putting something here, okay, increasing the supply, that is known as infusion. Now right now banks don't have enough liquidity. It means bank don't have enough money, and basically you understand that banks don't have enough money to give loans further, okay, in the economy. What is the major reason behind that? Major reason is the foreign investors are pulling out their money. Why foreign investors? We know that the foreign investment comes in two forms, FDI and FII. So why foreign investment which was coming to our country is going out? First of all, let's understand why the people were investing in India. Because in India they were getting higher returns. In our country we have high interest rates. That's why the people come to our country, so they can get higher returns. Other than that, out of India, the money is not, the interest rates were not that high. Interest rates were not that high. But what the US has done? US has done the things such as they are getting better returns due to tax cuts and trade policies under Donald Trump. So USA has changed its trade policies, and there were so many tax cuts. So now the America or the USA has become a better destination for the fund. So the people are pulling money out of India and they are investing more in the USA. So this is happening in our country. So we are lacking the foreign investment. So because there is a less foreign investment, that is going to impact the money supply in the economy. So that's why bank don't have much money. So now this has actually made US dollar stronger. Indian rupee weaker. So to ease this liquidity crunch means the lack of the money, the RBI is going to give banks more rupees in exchange for their dollar reserve through a swap auction. So there is going to be a swap auction. What is the meaning of that swap auction? There is going to be a transfer of dollar and rupee. Banks are going to give dollar to RBI and RBI is going to give rupee. Please understand this part as well. So this is going to be a swap agreement, and this swap agreement, so what will be the agreement? So what will be the cost of dollar? Because the value of rupee is changing as compared to dollar every day. So is it going to be on daily to daily basis? No, it is going to be on the basis of an agreement. They are going to decide that this has to be the value, and on the basis of that particular fixed value only there is going to be this swap agreement. Now, how does the swap work? Let's understand in detail. A dollar rupee swap means banks give their dollar to RBI. So banks will give their dollar to RBI, right, like I said earlier, and gets rupee in return, and in return they are going to get rupee at a pre-agreed price. So that is very important. It should be a pre-agreed price, pre-agreed. For example, if they while having an agreement, they will say that for $1 we are going to give you, let's say 85 rupees. It is more than that, but let's say 85 rupees. So they can have this particular amount fixed. Even if the value of rupees is going to get down and $1 will become 100 rupees, even after that the RBI is going to give, you know, $1 for RBI is going to give 85 rupees for $1. So it will be pre-agreed agreement, right? So that is very important. You need to understand. First you need to understand banks are going to give dollar and the RBI is going to give 85 rupees. Other than that, not 85, it is going to be, it can change. Okay, 85 I just took it as an example. Now this is $1. Now RBI is actually going to have total $10 million. So this much of money supply RBI is planning to have. To help increase the rupee supply in the banking system, making it easier for bank to lend money to the businesses and individual further, they are going to give this money to money as a loan for businesses. Why to businesses? Because businesses or individual, okay, they are going to use this money for some kind of production only. For some kind of production. If production in economy will increase, our GDP will increase. Okay, so this is our main aim. So this is our final aim. Now RBI has already done such kind of swap in January. So this is not the first time we are doing it. We have already done it before that. Why banks don't give rupees to RBI? Why would banks give rupees to RBI? Bank need rupees. They have to give rupees as a loan. Now they are asking, now RBI is there to help out the bank. Now RBI will give rupees to banks. But RBI cannot give rupees to banks, you know, free of cost. Okay, there has to be some mechanism. So every bank has their dollar reserve. So that dollar reserves, banks are going to going to take some dollars from their reserve, and then they are going to give that reserve to RBI, and in return RBI. So by doing that, we are not, you know, having we are not printing more currency. So we are not, you know, doing such kind of monetary interventions. We are going to have a healthy monetary interventions because there is just an exchange. Because the banks cannot give dollar as a loan, no? They have to give rupees as a loan. So dollar as a reserve they are going to give to RBI, and RBI will give them money. So there is an exchange, but within country the exchange will happen. We are not taking loan from somewhere else. We are not you know, borrowing from some other countries. Within country only we are exchanging, because every bank has their own dollar reserve. So this is the time they are going to utilize that dollar reserve, right? Now, so this is not the first time RBI is doing that. Before that, in January also RBI actually has given $5 billion swap. It's not million, it's billion only, right? And now it is doing a 10 billion swap for 3 years. Together, these steps will inject 1.3 trillion into Indian banking system, but economists believe that this is not enough, because right now the kind of monetary crunch or the money crunch we have in the economy is of 1.7 trillion liquidity shortfall. So it is going to be less than that, but it is a good step. Okay, so we can have some kind of growth. We can actually give the push to the growth in our economy. So this is the again, why this is important, how it is going to work out. This kind of currency swap is going to help stabilize the rupee first of all, because its value is losing day by day. Other than it can ensure bank through enough money to lend, right? Other than that, it is going to control inflation by maintaining financial health. Other than that, if there is very less money supply, okay, or if there is very high money supply, so it can affect the inflation directly or indirectly. Now let's compare this kind of swap with the kind of swap we had done in 2019. So RBI did the similar swap agreement in 2019 also, and that time also the reason was, right now the most of the economic problems in the world will be linked to the Donald Trump only. So the kind of because one country, if America is a big country, USA is a big country, so USA as a country has some kind of rules and regulations. So US always had some economic values, and we all know that the economies of the whole world are related to each other. If one big country is going to change its economic policies drastically and so rapidly, it is going to have repercussion on the other economies also. Similarly, even China is going to do something. If China is going to ban on the export of so many essential elements, essential products to the world, then the world is going to have the issues related to economies. So this is how because the world economies are so much interrelated to each other, so whatever is going to happen in one large economy is going to affect the other economies also. And right now we all know that Donald Trump is here and he is changing the economic policies drastically. He is saying so many things, he is doing as well. So that is actually going to have a turmoil in the economy, not only at economic level, at geopolitical level also. So that is a separate case. Let's understand the economic repercussion. So the same thing, before that the Trump 1.0 was there, it means Donald Trump's the first inning was there. In the first inning also he had that trade war with China, and the whole economy, the whole world was looking at that, was facing the same kind of economic turmoil. So at that point of time also India did the similar currency currency swap with the banks, right? However, back then the India's foreign exchange reserves were increasing, but the situation which we have right now was very different from the situation which we had in 2019, because in 2019 first of all our foreign reserves were increasing. Right now our foreign reserves were not increasing first of all, right? So there was no shortfall of dollars, but now because we are doing it, it can impact us. So now the situation is more difficult because rupee has already weakened very much. It is 3.3% since October 2024. This data you need not to remember. You just understand that rupee has weakened. The foreign investors has withdrawn 31 billions from India. This also data you don't remember, but you remember that in India the foreign investment is decreasing. Okay, like the rupee is weakening, foreign investment in our country is decreasing. So these things you need to remember. RBI has sold 111 billion dollars from its reserve to stabilize the rupee because rupee was weakening. So we are already, our foreign reserve, dollar reserves is declining, rupee is weakening, our investment, foreign investment is also decreasing. So the situation which we have right now is very different from the situation we had in 2019. So we have to be more careful. Okay. So what needs to happen next? For this liquidity boost actually help the economy, bank must use the money wisely. So it should not happen that we are having such kind of interventions or the monetary infusion, but the banks are not lending the same money wisely. So this is now on the banks. RBI has done his job. Its job. Now it's in the hands of the banks how they are going to lend their money. Now the article is actually going to give a direction to the banks how the banks should behave right now. First of all, banks need to lend more to the businesses so they can expand, first of all. Second, it should create job and increase wages, lending to higher consumer spending. Other than that, we need to encourage investment which will increase GDP growth beyond 6.4%. So investment also we need to encourage, because investment is very less. Though we had so much budget, we have so much budget for the capital infrastructure, capital expenditure, even after that we could not mobilize the investment in our country. So this is very, very important to mobilize the investment as well, right? That's why the government don't focus more on the saving, they focus more on the investment part. They want people to spend more to save less, so that the economy can have more activity. Okay, so this was about this article. The basic crux of the article is that what is this dollar swap agreement, how it is going to happen, who is going to give dollar, who is going to give money back, and it is going to be a pre-agreed agreement. And what will be the repercussions of it, how it is going to help the economy. It is simple, it is very, very simple. The money is in the hands of banks. The banks are going to give loan to the people, to the businesses. Businesses are going to have more production. More production means more GDP, means more growth. So this is the basic basic aim of such kind of agreement. Now let's come to our next article, that is the talent shortage, the global challenge, India's opportunity. Now the article is basically focusing on the fact that by 2030 all over the world the skilled people are going to be less, because the population in the Western countries, especially in the Europe and America, the population, not America is more on a its economy is very different. Okay, the people are coming from the different countries also, so aging population is not that much an issue there, but aging population is an issue in Europe. Okay, and we all know that all over the world the population is also decreasing, especially in the European countries, right? So population decreasing, other than that population is aging, so they are not going to have that much of a workforce. The workforce has to be young. India as a country, given our population, we have the young population which we can utilize to work in those countries. So how we are going to do that? So again the article is saying that there is going to be a talent shortage in the world by 2030. So there will be shortage of talent. Talent means skilled workers. Skilled workers. So there is going to be a shortage. Obviously it is a kind of a global challenge only, so the globally it is going to have a challenging effect, but how we can use it as an opportunity. So article is saying that why don't India use it as an opportunity, why we don't have such kind of foresight that we have the program, such kind of programs right now, so that we can produce skilled workforce in our country who can work outside. So it is actually going to solve the unemployment problem in our country as well. Now let's understand the crux of the article. So article, first of all, what is the scenario? The global job market is changing, and by 2030 there will be a huge shortage of skilled workforce worldwide. A study predicts that this shortage could result in $8.45 trillion loss in the economic potential if no one is going to do anything about it. India can utilize this as a big opportunity to fill this gap by training and sending its skilled workforce abroad. Okay, we can send our workforce abroad, but we cannot send unskilled workforce abroad. We have to send the skilled workforce abroad. For that, what we should do, we need to make our workforce very, very skilled, so they can be eligible for that kind of those kind of job. However, this requires strong policies. We need to have the policies related to the PM Kaushal Yojana is one of the example, but PM Kaushal Yojana was not a very good scheme. So it was a kind of a failed scheme only because it was not that much it was not that much organized. So that's why The PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana, the charge should be given to the schools and universities, so it could have done much better, but it did not do much things. Okay, we need to have some other kind of scheme. We need to have strong policy. PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana was very weak policy, right? Collaboration between the government and private sector is very important, and we need to have a better international agreement such as agreement related to immigration. The kind of issue we are facing with the people of Indian people are facing in USA, so such kind of we need to have international agreement. So there has to be a mix of things. First, we need to have strong policy, we need to have collaboration of government and the private sector, and we need to have a good international agreements. So the blend of these things are going to produce skilled workforce in our country. On the basis of that only we can utilize this talent shortage in the world by 2030 as opportunity for us. Now, different regions have different needs. Now, the article is saying that the Gulf and Australia is going to need workers in manufacturing and constructions because they are focusing more on manufacturing and construction. Europe is going to require more service sector employee. Europe, there is not much infrastructure development is going on, it has already been done, but now they need more service sector employees because the aging population. A common good here, why? Because in Gulf and Australia they don't have their own population much, they don't have that much population. Okay, so they don't have people to work in the manufacturing construction sites. We can provide that. Europe, the population is aging, so they cannot do services, so they are going to need service sector employees from the outside. India as a country, we can provide both to these two regions of the world. A common global demand will be the healthcare professional due to aging population in general. So healthcare population, the skilled healthcare professional are going to be very much in need in the future. The future belongs to healthcare professional, be either they are doctors, nurses or other kind of paramedics. Other than that, new technologies like AI, big data, automation will also shape the job market. So the future is not, future belongs to healthcare professional. Other than that, the people who are very much skilled in the new technology, that is the artificial intelligence, big data or automation. Other than that, barriers like visa restrictions, okay, skill recognition issue and recruitment malpractices going to make the migration difficult. But we as a country, with the strong policies, with the collaboration with the private sector and the better international agreement, we can actually overcome such kind of issues. So India has already started tackling these issues through bilateral agreements, skill development programs and digital job platforms, right? Other than that, to fully benefit the global job market, India needs to train workers in high demand skills. First of all, we need to focus on. First of all, we need to identify which skills are going to be in high demand. Like I have given you an example of healthcare professionals. Okay, so they are going to be very much in demand because the population all over the world are aging. So they are going to need more healthcare professionals. To regulate recruitment agency in our country, we need to regulate these recruitment agency. We need to ensure international recognition for qualification, and we need to encourage legal migration, because one of the big dent in Indian migration is that many of Indians migrate to other countries, especially the Western countries, illegally. Okay, so it is a kind of dent. But though our reputation, our Indian diaspora's, Indian workers' reputation is really good, but again it is a kind of dent. We need to have some kind of solution to such kind of illegal migration. We need to encourage illegal migration in our country. Despite some countries are going to tighten immigration rules, Indian workers still have a strong global reputation, the article is saying. Other than that, preventing illegal migration will further boost India's credibility as a skilled workforce supplier. If done right, this can help India to achieve this goal of becoming a $9 trillion economy by 2030. So we can actually achieve that. We can have more money from the outside by sending our professional, skilled professional to these areas, especially Europe, Gulf and Australia. So actually this was about the news, but again we need to have a better skill development schemes, not like PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. We need to have strong policies. So there has to be collaboration of things. Now let's come to our next article. So actually this article is related to the Ranveer Alabadia's case. So we all know about the case. What is the article? What is the Supreme Court previously ruled about these gag orders? Okay, so let's understand that. So first of all, the article is dealing with the background of the issue. So what is the background? Supreme Court actually granted interim protection from arrest to podcaster Ranveer Alabadia. We all know what is the issue here, okay? The kind of remarks he had on social media, and there were FIR all over the India against Ranveer Alabadia. So Ranveer Alabadia, obviously Supreme Court has granted interim protection from arrest, okay? Because if there is an FIR, FIR can lead to arrest also, and there were so many FIRs, so they were not even the consolidation of FIR. Now the Supreme Court has given one protection to him, that he is not going to get arrested, so he have immunity from the right now, not the complete immunity. So he have the interim protection from the arrest for now, in connection with the multiple FIRs related to him, related to his remarks on his YouTube channel or the show. India's Great Latent was the show, but the court imposed strict restrictions. So this was something that was a good thing, okay? There were so many FIRs. He has not done that big thing that he should get arrested or he should be persecuted at such a large scale. Again, he is a comedian only at the end. Other than that, what the court has done, what is being criticized in the article is saying that court has imposed strict restrictions on him. So what kind of restriction he had? He is actually there is a ban on his social media presence. So he cannot have his more shows on his YouTube channel, and his passport is actually, he has surrendered his passport. He cannot leave the country also. Gag order means such kind of restriction, okay, restrictive condition, a kind of orders which is going to restrict the personal liberty of a person. So these are known as, for example, even if a person is getting bail, so if you are going to impose so much restriction on a person even after giving him bail, then what is the meaning of bail? Despite previous Supreme Court rulings cautioning against excessive restriction on personal liberty, so Supreme Court has already given so many rules and orders that we need to have excessive restriction of someone's liberty. But you know, surrender of the passport is one thing, but his, you know, he has banned to have any further show on social media. So it is going to be a big blow for his own comedic career in the future. Okay, so that is something which article is discussing. So what was his plea? So he has faced multiple FIRs against different states under various laws for promoting obscenity. He approaches the Supreme Court seeking protection from the arrest and consolidation of these FIRs, which Supreme Court has given him. But the Supreme Court has previously ruled against filing multiple FIR for the same offence, recognizing it as a form of harassment. So such kind of events actually happen. We have seen many a time someone has done something and there are FIRs all over the country, okay, in the retaliation of that. But that is not legal. Even that is said by the Supreme Court that it is a kind of harassment. For example, a person is there and he is being heard by everyone that there is an FIR against you in each and every state of the country. So it is a kind of a big pressure on someone, okay. So even if someone is accused of something, so even after that, even the accused people, and still they are accused, they are not guilty. So even accused people have some kind of rights. What does how does one get interim relief? So this such kind of interim relief which is being which is provided to the Ranveer Allahabadiya. So what is it? So it is actually granted at judge's discretion. It's based on the discretion of the judge who is actually giving this relief, based on the factors such as flight risk that he is going to leave the country, witness intimidation, and the evidence tampering. So if there are such kind of issues, then the judge is going to have interim relief. The court often impose conditions such as passport surrender and periodic police, appearances, but have cautioned against unreasonable restriction. So the article is saying that these things are okay, surrender of passport and appearance in front of the police periodically, so that a police would be knowing that what the person is doing, even if he is out. So, but the Supreme Court has already given cautions against the unnecessary or the unreasonable restrictions. So, we not to put so many unreasonable restrictions on someone. The Supreme Court has previously ruled that the excessive bail condition violate the personal liberty and the privacy right of a person. So, what is the excessive restriction here in this case? That he is not allowed to do more YouTube, more YouTube postcards. So that is something that is considered as restrictive in this particular case. Now, is this case different? Why such kind of restriction to Ranveer Allahabadiya? Because the article is also mentioning another the similar kind of case, but the Supreme Court has not put such kind of restriction on him. So Supreme Court's condition preventing Allahabadiya from posting content amount to a prior restraint. What is the meaning of prior restraint? So Supreme Court has said that we have put such restriction on the basis of this prior restraint. Prior restraint means such kind of restraint the courts actually put on journalists, because if one journalist is going to say something in the future, then let's restrict his speech before that only. So in the same case also, before the Ranveer Allahabadiya is going to say more such kind of, or he is going to have such kind of comments again on social media, let's put some kind of prior means before that only, prior restraint on that. So it is actually a legal doctrine that restricts speech before it is going to happen in the future. But obviously he is not going to have some kind of speech again and again. Right. Courts have generally opposed such restriction, as it is seen in past rulings involving activists and journalists. A similar request to restrain journalist Muhammad Zubair on social media activity was denied. So same kind of controversy happened in the case of Muhammad Zubair, but it was not that much popular. In his case, the Supreme Court actually created a chilling effect, and his social media activity was denied, on free speech and violate professional right. It means he was allowed to do his social media activity. So this request to restrict his social media activity was denied by the Supreme Court. It means the article is saying that in the case of Muhammad Zubair, the Supreme Court had a very a lenient approach. So his activities was not denied. He could have his social media presence even after the issue. That was a good thing, that was not a bad thing, but it was done in his case. But why we are putting so much restriction in this particular case of Ranveer Allahabadiya? So this is something which article is trying to say. So this was all about this article. In this article, what you need to understand, so it is a case of the freedom of speech and expression at the one side. On the other side, the kind of speech you can have on social media, should there be any kind of restriction, because the comments which were done by him were kind of obscene. The third, what kind of restriction Supreme Court can have on speech and expression of a person. So that is something, so these are the issues which were involved in this case. So this case, if you want to study this case, how this particular issue is relevant for UPSC, to know what kind of restriction on speech and expression Supreme Court can do or cannot do. And this can be utilized, it can be used as a one of the example in when it comes to freedom of speech and expression, or the rules and regulation for the obscenity, or the the rules or the regulation for the social media in our country. So thank you so much. Have a very nice day. Please do read newspaper also. Goodbye.